Hi guys, welcome. It's Saturday, January 6th, and it is really cold here in Bolingbrook. We got our first measurable snow last night, overnight. It's kind of that wet, icky snow, but it's not, we got maybe an inch. I think we're supposed to get more throughout the day, but yeah, so it's kind of cold. So I might have to put my jacket on. Oh, look, I'm all discombobulated. I might have to put my jacket on halfway through the video because, you know me, I get cold. Okay, welcome to our second chapter in our quest to go through different types of components that we may use in card making. Now, this is tailored more towards the beginning to intermediate level. So, but if you're at expert level, you might even get some knowledge out of this. Hard to say. Oh, my hair's really weird. It's been, outside in the snow. It's been fun. All right. Anyway, that's what happens when your hair does not like winter weather. All right. Let's go ahead and get down to the stamping surface. I'm going to go over and make sure that we're live, but let's go to the stamping surface so you can see our topics as we are going to be going over them the next few weeks. Let's see. We are going to be going over them the next few weeks. Let's see. Sorry, I always forget to mute before I go to YouTube. Yeah, that's just me. Okay, all right, so it looks like we are live over there. So today we're going to go on chapter 2, adhesives. We're not going to be, like last week, we're not going to be doing cards per se. What I have done is when papers retire, I take my scraps. I have a container of scraps that I keep of current colors, so I can use punches and all that on them. So I'm going to be using these scraps just to show the different adhesives or the adhering that is done. All right. I'm going to be going over the adhesives. They're on page 138 of our annual catalog. I know this won't show up good, but this is our annual catalog, and those are all your adhesive choices. Like I said, it's page 138 of the annual catalog. So I'm going to have this off to the side. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with my mouse, my computer mouse. I don't have a mouse. That way we can go ahead and just kind of go through the different ones. And I'm not going to be going in order. Yeah, maybe I should. That way I don't forget anything. So I will be going in order of the as they list them. And if I had brand new packs, I do have them so you can see how they come packaged when you order from me. So if you would order off of here, this is going to show you how they come packaged too. If I don't have a brand new one, then I will show you what I actually have available. Now in my stamping area, I have a quick drawer that I have most of my adhesives in, so that when I'm standing up over here and stamping, I can quickly grab them. I also have a drawer right here that carries a lot of my back stock or my other, or items that may not fit in there. And as you see, some of the item packaging is bigger, so it may not fit in there. So what we'll be using the scraps for is to actually just show you how they adhere or how you would apply them. Okay, so let's start with number 1 in our catalog, which is stamping dimensions. Now, let me go ahead and grab out, because in the white you have Stampin' Dimensions, or dimensionals, sorry, and mini Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, but if you go down to number 3, you also have the black dimensionals. which come the regular size and the mini within them. And I'm sorry it's going out of focus so much. I have to, when it's plastic and all that, I have to remember how much I have shown. That way you don't get that crazy fuzzy look. Okay, so number one is the Stampin' Dimensionals. So here's the pack. And you open it up, you're going to have 3 full sheets of dimensionals. Okay, and there's 300 pieces, so there's 100 on each of these. But also remember, you have your edges that you can always use. Let me put that over here. When I get my dimensionals, the white, I usually take a neon Sharpie and color them just so I can see what has and hasn't been used. I just do that because. All right, so to use a dimensional, so this is the full-size dimensional. Let's say you have a layer and you want to pop it up. Now, we talked a little bit about layers last week, but let's go ahead. Let's say you had this piece, and we're going to be very technical here, as you can tell. I'm sorry, that's really, I'm wondering if I turn on my light, if that will help with the fuzziness. Let me turn on my overhead light, and hopefully there's not too much glare, but maybe just a little bit of light will keep it from fading in and out, getting all fuzzy, you know, and focusing. Probably not. All right, so let's say we want to put this layer on this, but we want to pop it up. So what you would do is you would take, oops, that's a lot of dimensionals. You would put dimensionals down, peel off the backing. That's another reason why I color these, so I can tell if all my backings are off. And yes, they do travel everywhere in your house, these little backings, just so you know. You might think you got them all in your wastebasket, and you'll find them in your washer. Okay, so you'll center it, put it down. It just gives it a little bit of height, a little bit of dimension. Whereas, let me show you, not to get ahead of myself here, we'll show you later with the exact same one how it looks when you're not using a dimensional. So then your minis, oh my goodness, do I have a mini out? Let me see, am I low? Sorry, that's right by the speaker. That's probably very loud. All right, so let's go ahead and grab my minis. We'll open these up. So the mini dimensionals, you get 720 pieces. All right. You still get the 3. But obviously at 720, there's going to be 140 on here. Does that work out right? 720 divided by 3. No, 240. Right? Oh my gosh. Yes. 240, 480, 720. So these are the exact same. I haven't done these yet. Let me get my little neon Sharpie. That's just for me for later. But these are exactly the same, except they're smaller. So let's go ahead and take these 2 pieces. You'll usually use these when you have a smaller area that you want to pop up. So like these work good for like alphabet letters, for like flowers where you have that stem. Yeah, I'm not using the ones that I just colored because it takes about a second for that to dry. So those are all sticky. I didn't put one in the middle. I should have. Let me quickly put one in the middle. Helps with that middle not sinking. All right, so there you are again. Just gives a little bit of a pop-up to it. All right, so then on our black dimensionals. Now, this, like I said, is a combo pack. So you're going to get 200 of the big and 480 of the small. So just like the other ones, you get 100 on each of these sheets, and then you get 240 on each of these sheets. Now on these, and I'm going to put these both on the same one here so you can see exactly the same. I like bending mine so I can pull it up. Exactly the same, except when you go to stick them down, the backing's going to be a different color so you can tell when your backing's off. But also, I don't know if I made this one. Let me get another scrap here. It's a little bit bigger. This is also nice. I use these only on my fall cards because then if you're really close to the edge or something and someone's looking at the layers, you see it doesn't show up white. It just shows up black. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it. So see how in there it's black. If someone tries to pull a layers part here, it's white. So it's just, is there really a difference? No, they do the exact same thing. They're just different colors. Okay, so that's dimensionals. We'll put those up here for now. Next on our list, going along the same line, is foam adhesive strips. These are nice to use when you are making frames or shadows. Shadow cards, shaker cards, sorry, not shadow cards, shaker cards. They come in these nice long strips. You get, let's see, does it tell us? No, it doesn't tell us how many actual strips, but there's quite a few, as you can see. Now, when I get mine, let me show you. I usually cut them down to a length, like this must be, let's see, here's my 0. So these are 5.5. So these are for the long side of a card. Like I said, you can use these with frames. When you cut, like, and we'll get to that with die cuts, when you cut 2 dies inside of one another and have a really thin frame, these are good if you want to pop up that frame. But mostly shaker cards is a good thing for these. Now when you get a package, you get 2 sheets, and it is, let's see, 9 inches long and about 3 inches wide. So you have a lot of different strips in there. Now, the next item on the page I don't have, and that's foam adhesive sheets. People use these to use for bigger areas. So, oops, sorry, that really got it pixelated, sorry. So imagine this, but it's just a big old sheet. All right. Back in the day, you could, when we had, not so much now with our thin dies, but when we had the thicker dies, the full form dies, you could run it through in those dies and you could cut them out. So you could have, like, if you were cutting out a circle, you could have a full circle foam shape. I said that's the only adhesive I believe I don't have because I don't have much use for that. The dimensionals and the strips usually do well for me. All right, the next thing we're going to show you is the adhesive sheets. Now these I use a lot. I use these with my dies for die cuts, especially with alphabets, like the autumn leaves die set, which are really thin. something that's really, really thin. And let me show you, let me show you. Let's show you what I mean. So here are some cutouts from autumn leaves. And if you wanted to glue this down, because this is the inside of a leaf, it would be really, I'm not going to say it's going to be difficult, but it'd be challenging, let's say, to go ahead and put that in there. And I don't know, I don't have any that go ahead, but this is like, so let's say this one, you wanted to put this down here. The adhesive sheets are the best thing to use in that case, because what you'll do, and again, I'm not going to bring out dies or die cuts because we don't have, let me see what I have in here, because we don't have those yet. But let's just go ahead, I'll rip one of these off and we'll say that we're going to put it on here. So before I would die cut this, I would take an adhesive sheet. Now you get 12 of these sheets in a pack. So, and they're good size, as you can see. They're 12 by, I think 4? No, 12 by 6. I guess if I would read this, I would say right here, 6 by 12. So this isn't going to give you the full effect of it, but I'm going to kind of show you essentially what it can do. So let's say I want to stick this on top of this. Bad example. No, we're going to go back to this example. Sorry. So what I would do is you would take this, and now there's two sides of these sheets. You have a side that has the perforation or that you can peel, and then you have the side that let me just do it. Let me just show you. And I will use this when we go into our die cut section. I'll be using this a lot, just so you know. So what you would do is you would peel this off. You would have your cardstock. You would peel this off. And this is sticky. So you would put this down. Oh my gosh, someone's trying to call me. Let me see. Oh, I'm just going to ignore it. I don't know who it was. Hopefully it wasn't my husband saying he had problems with the car. All right, so you're going to put this down. You're going to run it through the die cut machine. So in this case, let's say we're just going to do a swirly line. Let's say we're going to do a swirly line like this. Sorry. So I'm just cutting out this little swirly line. All right. And now I want to put this down on my cardstock piece. You would then peel off that adhesive, which I don't have fingernails, so you know it's hard for me. Peel off that adhesive, and it's completely covered that whole piece of cardstock. So again, you would take this, cut it down to your cardstock, peel it on one side, and let me go ahead and grab one of these just to show you. And then we'll just leave the backing on, and when we get to our die cuts, it'll all make more sense. But so I'm going to kind of cut around this. Oops, sorry. I forget that I'm not standing up and can't see everything. So I'm just cutting around this, so I'm pretty much matching the size of my cardstock. Going to peel this off. The part you peel off is non-sticky. You're going to peel this off. You're going to lay it down. Now once it sticks, so pretty much have it where you want it to be. And if you haven't cut it exactly, you'll get the extra off on your fingers. Now this is ready to die cut. So now you would put your die cuts here. Don't use this with punches. It tends to get stuck in punches. I mean, I could use an old punch. You know what, let me go ahead. Let me use an old punch that I'm not too worried about. Just so I can show you. Oh my goodness, did you hear that? I just dropped one on the floor. So here's an old square punch. And the reason I tell you not to use punches is you do have the capability of it getting stuck in here. So now that you punch that off, all you have to do is peel this. Again, I don't have nails. And see how that all is adhesive underneath there. Can you see how it's all adhesive? See that shininess? And then you can stick it down like that. All right, we'll keep that over here for when we get to our die cutting. All right, let me put this back. Created quite a mess here, haven't I? And yes, if you wanted to, you could expose that and lay this down on it to pick up that adhesive. It does work that way, but then again, it gets to be a little bit messy because now you have it all over your fingers. All right. So that was adhesive sheets. Cling adhesive. Now, I have 2 packers of it. The reason I bought this was I thought I was going to convert a lot of my old stamps to your cling mount, your clear mount. Or like with my Be Mine, it feels like the smaller pieces really feel like they aren't that sticky. So this is just strips of adhesive again that you can use to help with to convert your clear mount old ones into the new cling version. Clear mount were solely red rubber back in the day. So, and they give you your little instructions. So it's not an adhesive per se. You could use it on cards and strips and that, but it's more to take care of converting those clear mount stamps to cling. We've had many different names for stamps over the years, believe me. All right, let me go ahead and put, my side desk is getting really messy now. But did you notice my desk behind me, I did clean it up. All right, anyway, next, number 8, mini glue dots. Mini glue dots are great. Oh my gosh, it's really staying out of focus. I don't know if it's my internet or if it's just because I have so many different items. Maybe that's it. Let me take some of these items off. That way it doesn't have so much to focus on. All right, better. All right, mini glue dots. These are great, again, for those little tiny, let's say you wanted just to put this down this way, but you didn't want it to be completely down with full adhesion because you wanted to show some texture, some dimension with it. So you could take a glue dot and you can roll it up and put it underneath that. And I didn't roll it up nearly good enough, but so then you could put it underneath that stem. So see, it's stuck on, but not everything is stuck down like fully adhesive. This is also great for when you have like a little flap. Let's say, and this won't be a good example, but let's say you have a corner that's not sticking down. You can take your glue dot put it underneath there, press it down to help with any corners that may be flapping up a little. Oops, sorry. Mini glue dots. I don't use them a lot. I do, but I don't. But they are great for those little small parts where you want it to be flat. Now, it's not going to raise it up. It's not going to give you the dimension of a dimensional, but it's good for, like I said, these small spots where you might want to just, you didn't run it through your, with your clean adhesive, I'm sorry, with your adhesive sheet, so you just want to go ahead and put it on that thin area. All right. Oh, my favorite. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if one is older than the other. It has not affected the product, but I do have tear and tape that has more of a yellow backing and a white backing. Don't think there's any difference, but this is how you get it. It is 27 yards, and this is the best tape for boxes, for envelopes, you know, if you're putting a flap on your envelope. I use it a lot after I've run something through an embossing folder because the fibers have been broken down, so it seems like it works better after that. But what tear and tape does, and it's just like it says, you find your end, you tear it to the length, you press it down, you burnish your edge a little bit so it helps to release, and then you peel off. Again, I don't have fingernails. Let me, here we go. All right, before I stick it down, throw that away. If you have a cat, they love those little wrappers. But can you see how we have that adhesive all along there? Now this stuff is strong, so if you make a mistake and have pressed it down, it's stuck. It's pretty much it. You probably could exhale on it and maybe pull it apart, but it is super, super strong. That's why it's great for boxes on these bags. I'm sorry, now it's going to take a while for it to. On these bags, I've used it on my bags just because it's so super strong. Tear and tape is one of my favorites. I really use and love it a lot. All right, now we're getting to the basics that I pretty much use most every day when I stamp. So you have your Stamp and Seal and your Stamp and Seal Plus. You can buy them originally with the holders, with the whole thing. You also can get them just as refills. I have a lot of Stamp and Seal. Do I have a Stamp and Seal Plus? I may not have a Stamp and Seal Plus refill. I'm looking in my little side drawer here. Nope, doesn't look like it. Looks like I only have Stamp and Seal right now. They tend to go, the refills tend to go on back order. Like the whole things are rarely on back order, but the refills tend to go on back order a lot. So when I order 2 or 3 at a time. Okay, so Stamp and Seal, the regular, is what I use on probably 80% of my cards. Well, I'll still say 80, but I am going towards another adhesive, which we'll talk about in a second. But Stamp and Seal Plus, when you stamp and seal, sorry. There's your refill. So if, you know, you're having to refill it, you just snap it in there. Sometimes you need to move it a little bit forward to get that first adhesive engaged. But I tend to hold it, I don't know if you can see, I tend to hold it, I don't even know what that's like. It's more straight up and down. That way when I lift up, it leaves that leading sticky edge and I don't have to move it forward. But you can see you just run it along and then you adhere it down. Again, run it along, adhere it down. I'm going to rip this right about where it's at. What I use, I'm going to say 80% of the time. It used to be 95% of the time, but I have started to use the green glue, which we'll get to in a bit. All right, Stamp and Seal Plus. Pretty much the same concept, except it is super strong. So it's like tear and tape strong. So it's good for your boxes. You can see it comes out. See how it's like little tabs? See those little lines in there? It is strong. It is probably, I'm not going to say it's twice as strong as the Stamp and Seal, but it is. It's very strong. So it's good for boxes. It's good for fun folds that you want to make sure that it stays down. It's good for bags. So again, this is, let me get another strip. I want to get it thick enough. Just like the other, up and down. You can see those little tabs coming out and it sticks down. All right, so that's the Stamp and Seal Plus. Do I use this one a lot? If I want the strength, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go to my tear and tape. But if you're doing a lot of projects and you get tired of ripping and peeling, ripping, peeling off that paper backing, this is a good alternative. All right, so that's Stamp and Seal Plus. The next one is Heat and Stick Powder. Now, I'm not going to show that to you today, only because I'm going to save that when we do our heat embossing. You can't really apply it without a heat gun. So it's just a powder that's when it's heated, it becomes tacky. So then you can use things like glitter, when we used to have glitter. I use it a lot with my gold leafing, gilded leafing, whatever we call it now. I showed it on my Finish It Friday episode, but I didn't show it with the heat and stick. I showed it with adhesive, with the green glue, which is what we're getting to next. So we'll come back, we'll circle back around to the heat and stick powder when we are actually in our heat embossing section, which is a few weeks down the road. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is your multi-purpose glue. So this is your multi-purpose glue. I store mine upside down. I have taken old votive holders and put hot glue in here and taped or glued the lid in so that this is upside down, always ready to go. But there's a number of little cute little stands out there you can get for them and all that. I was not always a big fan of this, but I have started to like it a lot more lately. You have two ends. I use this end the most, and I always use shake to make sure it's down. I always press against the paper, so I'm not getting a full bead. I'm getting kind of like a concentrated bead. Sometimes I'll go near the edge. I don't always go straight to the edge because I don't want seepage. I don't want it to come out. But you flip it over, you hang onto it for a second. See, there's a little bit of seepage there. Not a big deal on your card. Let it dry. You can rub it away. But it's a good alternative for that. If you have a large area, you can use, and see, it won't, I can use it on this one. If you have a large area, you can use this end. I don't use the thick end very much, but what that does is, see how you get a great big area covered at once. So I suppose if you're still scrapbooking, you're not doing digital scrapbooking, you're doing scrapbooking the traditional way, this would be good for a lot of those cutouts, cutouts, die cuts that you might put on your scrapbooking page. It's also good, that end would be good for adhering down layers, but you would use a lot of glue, I feel. If you wanted to do, here, let's show you this. Let me see if I can find one. Here's one that's a little bit smaller. So let's say you wanted to adhere this down. You could go ahead and go just right along that edge. I just don't feel like you have a lot of control with it. Put some in there. And then you can glue it down. Instead of taking squiggly lines all over the place. So yeah, I usually use the detailed end. I also have gone on Amazon and bought these detail glue bottles, because with this, and what I do is I pour a green glue in here. Okay, I'm going to show you the product that Stampin' Up! Has next that is very similar to this, but it's a clear glue to begin with. This is the white, we call it green glue because of the packaging, but what I like about this precision tip, the green glue in this precision tip, is you can do really thin lines. You can do really small dots. But it's still using the multi-purpose green glue, which is very strong. This is also good if we went back to that leaf thing. Let me grab out one of those inside veins. You could try to do with that. I just feel like with this, again, this is just our green glue in a precision tip container. I do have a few left, so if you place a $50 order on my website, I can send you one of these in the mail. So let me go ahead and pick that up. Usually I have my my reverse tweezers to help with that. But then see how that glues down. So it's another thing you can use if you don't have those adhesive sheets. You can use the green glue for that. Let me show you. If you're really careful, you can use the green glue without the precision tip, just the way it is. Let me bring out this, because this is number 15 on the adhesive page. And not that it's an adhesive, but it's an adhesive helper. So let's say you only have the green glue and you want to put it on here. If you spill over on this silicone mat, you will be able to wipe it away later. So I'm trying to get as thin as possible here, but you can see that I'm hitting that silicone mat. So see how I have the little bits there? So let me go ahead and put this down. There is going to be, see, there's a little bit of seepage there. Again, let it dry clear and then you can just rub it off of your card. That's another reason why I like the precision tip, because you can get in there. So this hasn't dried yet. I did this on my Friday video. Can you see? That is the green glue that has dried, and that's all you do with this silicone mat. You just go ahead and ball it up, and there you are. All right, last thing on the adhesive page, and we, like I said, we skipped around there because that mat is number 15, but I showed it in conjunction with that. So this is Stampin' Up's fine tip glue pen, and I do like it, don't get me wrong. It has a tip and it has a little needle, can you see that, inside there to help the tip from clogging. I just feel like this needs to be longer, because I feel like I still have a lot of times where it's, see right now I'm squeezing and no glue's coming out. And that, like I said, I like the product, but, and let me go over, where do I have it? I can't think. Is it? Oh, it's in here. Sorry. This is why we used to sell Wireworks back in the day. The only reason I keep this around is because I can use this to go down all the way in this glue bottle and get that clog. Let me, probably, I have on my contacts today, so that monovision is not helping me. All right, so there I have it down. I'm just going to keep pushing that wire down, all the way down, so that it clears that entire, and see now I do have some glue that came off on it. So now hopefully it'll come out. There we go. And there. So it's a great product, but can you see how fine? And it's clear when it comes out, and it dries clear. So that is a good thing about it. Just like I said, I really think this wire needs to be just a little bit longer, because a lot of times your clogging is getting further down here. It's not right here in this part of the tip. I always make sure before I always make sure I go like that once I get ready to close it up. So hopefully anything that's in that whole area gets goes down, so it's not going to dry in there. But I do find that most every time I go to use this, it's clogged and I have to use my wire to actually clean it out. But it is a good product. You do have great adhesion, but that is why I have gone to the green glue and the precision tip. I will use this though, especially if I had used this on that. Even though I'm going to be able to rub that away, you wouldn't see any of that, or it would look just like a shadow. But as you can see, this is already starting to dry, so pretty soon I'll be able just to rub that away. All right, so still a great product, just it's a little persnickety. Is that the right word? At times. So there you have it. Let me see if it'll focus. There's all of our adhesives we've gone through for the most part. Of course, I didn't have the craft foam sheets, the full sheets, and I'm not using the heat and stick powder yet because we haven't got to heat embossing. But that's your adhesives in a little bit of a snapshot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Next week, come on back. We'll go over another part of card making and the products and items associated with your card making needs. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a great day. Take care. Give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.